Getting from a pile of parts to a fully functional daily driver sitting in its dock requires threading the needle on some mid-2000s hardware quirks. Today, we are taking this disassembled Sony Ericsson W800i and making it fully operational. Sony launched the Walkman brand in 1979 with the TPS L2 cassette player. In 2005, they moved that audio lineage directly into the mobile phone market with the W800i. Before we start the assembly, you need 5 specific items: the handset itself, a standard size SIM card, the original battery, a memory stick duo, and the proprietary Sony Ericsson charger. While you can boot the device strictly as an offline MP3 player, accessing the actual communication features requires a SIM card provisioned with an active cellular plan. If you want to experience what early mobile audio felt like firsthand, you have to get this physical setup sequence exactly right. Step 1 is accessing the logic board. Press down firmly on the back housing of the phone and slide it completely off. This diagram illustrates the SIM card slot. Notice that the gold contacts must face downward, and the cutoff corner needs to align perfectly with the shape of the metal tray. Do not force the card. Inserting it backward and applying pressure will permanently bend the internal contact pins, bricking the phone's ability to read networks. Once the SIM is seated flush, take the battery and position it label side up. Match the gold connection terminals on the battery directly to the prongs inside the phone. Slide the battery cover back over the housing until you feel a distinct physical click. That precise mechanical alignment of the SIM and battery is what enables the hardware to talk to the cellular network. With the core components locked in, we can move to the external ports. Look along the perimeter of the device to locate the external media slot, designed specifically for a memory stick duo. The slot uses a spring-loaded mechanism. Push the edge of the card in to lock it and press it again to eject. Never try to pry the card out with force. To power the device, check the proprietary Sony Ericsson charger plug. You have to ensure that this connector symbol is facing upwards before inserting it into the base of the phone. This timeline shows what happens next. If the battery is dead, the screen remains blank for up to 30 minutes, even while receiving power. From there, leave it plugged in for 2.5 hours to reach maximum battery capacity. It is easy to assume the phone is broken when the screen stays black. Waiting out that initial 30-minute blackout period is a required step before you attempt to boot. Once the battery icon finally appears and registers a charge, press and hold the top-mounted power button. The screen will light up and prompt you for a PIN. This graphic shows the security threshold. If you enter the wrong PIN 3 times in a row, the SIM card will block your access. If you lock the SIM, you need a PUK, or personal unblocking key. This is an override code provided exclusively by your cellular carrier to reverse the block. Sony Ericsson built heavy marketing around the dual nature of this device, which is reflected immediately in its software. After passing the security check, you land on the startup menu. Here, you have to make a choice. Selecting Full Functionality turns on all radio transmitters for cellular calls. Selecting Walkman Player Only disables the cellular radios, turning the device into an isolated media player. If it's your first time booting up, the setup wizard will run next, asking you to lock in baseline settings like your language, time, and date. Forcing the user to choose between a communication tool and an isolated media player at every single boot sequence heavily reinforced the Walkman branding. Finishing the setup wizard drops you onto the standby screen. Seeing your carrier name and the exact time displayed on screen confirms that the assembly was correct and the network connection is live. To use the media features you've enabled, plug in the final accessory, the HPM70 stereo headset, which also functions as the required antenna for the FM radio. When you start moving MP3s from your computer to the memory stick using the included cable, you'll hit a hardware bottleneck. The data transfer operates at USB 1.1 speeds. In the mid-2000s ecosystem, transferring a single song at USB 1.1 speeds took about 30 seconds. Loading an 80-megabyte album required a full 5 minutes of wait time. Navigating those transfer speeds, securing the proper SIM, and executing the physical assembly brings this device fully online. You have taken a dormant piece of audio history and rebuilt it into a functioning daily driver.